Okay, so this video is going to be 7.2, which is scientific notation. So what is it? It's going to be a number that's going to be from 1 to anything greater than 10. It could be a decimal, but this n value here is going to be anything from negatives to positives. So here's an example of the things that we're going to look at here. So let's go ahead and go on. Okay, so the weight of an Asian elephant is 5.5 times 10 to the 6. So this is a way to write numbers that might be larger than what our calculator can hold or smaller than what our calculator holds, because say we want to do the distance from here to the moon. Well, we can't get all the numbers into our calculator for that one, so we write it in scientific notation. So this one, the weight of an elephant, so we have 5.5. So whenever we have positive, it means we're going to move right. Okay? So we have to move right 6. So we're going to add zeros here. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it is 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how much an elephant will weigh. Okay, so this one, we have a negative this time. So we're going to move to the left. Okay, so we're going to have 3.1. We're going to add a bunch of zeros to the left because it's negative. So we're going to move left 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 0.0031 for this one. Okay, and you can think of it as, so we're talking about the weight of an ant. Well, we know the weight of the ant's going to be extremely small. So we know that it has to be, it's not going to be getting bigger by going to the right. It's got to get smaller by going to the left. So here we go. Okay, write in scientific notation. So we're going to have, we always want a number and then our decimal. So we always need that number first. So we're going to be moving to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 7 times 10 to the negative 4. Because if we would reverse it then, we would be going to the left, which would then give us the zeros in the front, which would give us the decimal. So we'd have that. Okay, and this one is big and we want to get it smaller. We need the decimal. I want it in between because we have to have a number on the left side. So I want it in between that 3 and that 2. So it's going to be 3.2. So we're going to do 3.2 times 10. And then I'm going to erase this. Let's see. If we want it right here, let's see how many we have to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to times 10 to the positive 7, because if it's positive, we'd be going right, and so we'd be moving that over to the right, which would get it bigger. So it's 3.2 times 10 to the 7th. So whenever you're trying to get a big number, you have to make sure this is positive. Whenever you're trying to get a smaller number, it needs to be negative. And you can think of it as if we have 2 to the negative 2. So we would want this, it's going to be smaller. Well, normally you would flip it, so it'd be 2 squared, which is 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 is smaller. So if we had 2 squared, well, it's positive, so we'd want it to be bigger. Well, we already know 2 squared is 4, which is bigger. So that's why we pick the negative to go left and the positive to go right. Okay, so we're going to write this in standard form. So we're going to have 3.5. So we got a positive, so we know it's going to be getting bigger. So we got to add our zeros to the end. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Okay. For this one, we're going to be getting smaller because it's a negative. So it's going to be 1.27. So we have to add our zeros onto the front end. Boom, boom, boom. We've got to move 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 0.000127. Okay, order from least to greatest. So we got 10 to the 5th here. Well, this is a negative, so we want to do 10 over 3. That's a negative, so we're going to do 1 over 10 and 10 to the 1. Well, 10 to the 5th, we know is going to be the biggest. Okay, this is going to be the smallest decimal because 10 cubed is going to be like 1,000, over 1,000, which is a bigger decimal than 1 over 10, which is 0.10. So we know it's going to be 1 over 10 cubed. Then the next decimal would have been 1/10. So then the only one we have left is 10 to the 1. And you can double check that by plugging it into your calculator if you wanted to.